So we starting fresh, y'all. How am I reactors? So we gonna start with the woman of the Bible, and it's Eve, colored. Eve, the first African woman. The story of Eve is relevant to the woman of color for several reasons. It's no secret that women of color has reigned throughout history as the first woman to do many things in God's world. The creation of Eve, the first woman of color, occurred on the sixth day of creation. In the first chapters of Genesis, the story of the creation of Eve demonstrates the importance of men and women complementing one another, supporting one another, and empowering one another. When women of color develops a nurture relationship, whether intimate, professional, familiar, or social, we must remember the importance of embracing and empowering through our roles as helpers. I define helper not only in the sense of your husband and wife, team, or a male-female relationship, but also inclusively from a biblical stance. Women helping women helping men, women helping children, women helping do community, and women helping others who may or may not be like who may or may not be like them. Eve's stories also shows the challenge of listening and hearing God when God speaks to us. When we fail to hear God's voice, we move in the wrong directions and we commit sin. Even if Eve first sinned when she listened to the serpent instead of God. There will be times when we listen to the wrong voice, but it's important to remember that we can always go to God and seek forgiveness. There is no need to hide from God. God wants us to confess our wrongs to Him. In fact, in Genesis, God asked Adam and Eve, "Where are you?" The question, the question, where are we in our relationship to God, should be ever before us. The story of Eve should remind women of color that God has created each of us in His image. We know that God has empowered and inspired many women of color to be pioneers, to be helpers, and to be women who listen to the voice of God. And that's it for Eve, y'all. So we're going to continue with Hager. Hager, battered, beaten, and rejected, but not abandoned. Given her story, it's no surprise that women of color finds a kindred spirit in the person of Hager. She was a young slave from Egypt who found herself in the midst of foreign nomadic people. She was forced to give her body to her master, Abraham, an idea that proposed by his wife, Sarai. Okay. But once she obeyed her mistress and masters, she was rejected and scorned. Sarai mistreatment of the pregnant Hagar forced the young woman to run away. Hagar fled into the desert where she met the angel of God. He told her to return to Sarai and give birth to Abram's son, Ishmael, who will become the father of a nation. Hagar was amazed that living Hagar was amazed that the living God saw her, filled with hope. Hagar returned and gave birth to her son. In God's time and by grace, God's grace, the promised son Isaac was born to Sarah Abraham, whose names were changed by God before Isaac's birth. After Isaac's birth, Sarah saw Hagar's child and as a threat to Isaac's position as heir, so she implored Abraham to expel them. Hagar and Ishmael were sent into the desert with a meager supply of food and water. When the water ran out, Hagar set apart from her son so as to not witness his death. Again, the angel of God appeared to reassure her of God's plans and to reveal her as a well of drinking water, refreshed, renewed, and redirected. Hagar raised her son alone. Ishmael grew to be a strong, powerful man and founder of the Arab nation. Disadvantaged and dispossessed women today can relate to Hagar. Many have experienced entanglement, prejudice, hardship, hopelessness, grief, and despair. Many have known the fear that accompanies being an abandoned pregnant woman alone in the world. Regardless of your circumstances, your social status, or how many times you've been knocked down, battered, and beaten by life, you cannot escape God's care. God provides for Hager and her son, and He can and will provide for you. And I'll be back with two more aspiring women.